Hi, and welcome to The City Show. I'm John Zimkus, your host. Today, our first two guests are Erin Hawk from LCNB National Bank. She is an assistant vice president and the officer in charge of wealth investment, as I understand it. Is that correct?
Wealth investment officer. I wouldn't say I'm in charge.
Okay. Well taken. And Molly Conley, you are the director of the Warren County Soil and Water Conservation District.
That's correct.
But you're here today to talk about something called the Warren County Environmental Forum.
Yes.
What is that?
So it is a fund that we established through the Warren County Foundation. The reason why we called it a forum is because in addition to accepting donations and being able to give grants, which we'll discuss a little bit later, we also have an educational component and a volunteer component to it. So we are in the very beginning stages of getting things planned and rolled out. Right now, we're acting more as a in-between to broadcast other volunteer activities and educational things that are already going on because we do have a Facebook page. So right now, we're not actually creating our own volunteer opportunities or our own educational programs. We hope to eventually get to that point. But so far, we're just kind of broadcasting things that are already happening in the Warren County areas. But then our main goal right now is, like I said, we do still accept donations and we're giving grants. The grants are up to $500, which we are accepting applications already for. You can go to Warren County Foundation's website for that. It's very open-ended. We did that on purpose. Our goal is just to create environmentally conscious individuals. So what the grants can be used for are just anything on your property that helps you create a more sustainable lifestyle. So we did give some examples.
What would be an example of a sustainable lifestyle?
So one of the examples we give, because we can do it for individuals or small businesses, there are plenty of nonprofit avenues to get funds. So we were trying to create something a little bit different. So if you're a small business, say a restaurant, you could apply for a grant to switch to compostable or biodegradable takeout containers. $500 isn't going to cover your entire cost, even for a year, but the idea is to maybe give you that little push to establish that yourself. If you're a homeowner, establishing a rain garden is a great way and a fairly cheap way to help with the water runoff. I think Molly can talk more about the specifics of that particular project if you did do that, or buying a rain barrel for your property. If you wanted to put solar panels on your home, again, we're not going to cover the full cost. We cap it at $500, but we can help compensate some of that cost for a homeowner. Just different things like that. So as long as in our application, one of our questions is explain how this can make a positive environmental impact or how it will help you be more sustainable. If you can explain to us that in a way that it can be, then, like I said, we're leaving it pretty open-ended. We don't pretend to know all of the ways that people can make better choices for the environment. So we didn't want to say it's only for like A, B, and C. So keeping it open.
Okay. Molly, is there a need for a forum like this?
Absolutely. We're so excited about anyone that would like to improve or protect the environment moving forward. We not only have to take steps to improve the environment, but to protect what we already have. So we want to go both sides, and we want to inspire residents and businesses and anyone in the county to do this kind of work. Soil and Water Conservation District does this work all day long, every day. And so we're really into it. But we want to inspire, that's a lot of our mission, is getting that word of conservation out and inspiring people to do the same. So we educate, we outreach, we promote these kind of things. I'm on the committee for the forum, as well as leading a bunch of different projects in the county that help residents and businesses and anyone take any sort of environmental steps.
Now, there are multiple reasons for the existence of the forum. One would be pollution, and separate to that would be climate change. So they both have an effect on our footprint here in Warren County. Erin mentioned a rain garden. What's a rain garden?
So rain garden is a nice conservation practice that anyone can install. It takes concentrated rainfall, maybe from a gutter or a ditch or a gully on your property, and it collects it. It kind of holds it for a time, and you plant specific plants in that area that can use that water, can soak that water in, can kind of hold the water there and maybe infiltrate it into the ground. Rain gardens not only help the surrounding area from detrimental effects of collecting rainwater like an erosion problem or a gully or a stream, but it also can remove some pollutants. So, you know, we put nutrients on our lawns, oil might leak from our cars, we have pet waste that gets into our stormwater, and instead of transmitting that down the line into our streams and lakes and rivers, we can handle it, some of the plants, and they can filter some of that out right at the location and then provide cleaner water running off into our streams and lakes and rivers.
Now, if somebody wants to get this grant, but they don't know what to do with the money, we want to do something, but we don't know how to set up a rain garden. Is there assistance in that?
Well, that's kind of where our next project comes into play. So Warren Soil and Water, we're excited to start a project next year with the foundation. So we are partnering with Warren County Foundation on this, and we are calling it the Urban Conservation Learning Lab. And so there is a small plot of land right next to the foundation that really is just green space right now, which green space is valuable. But what we're looking to do is install a couple of these practices, so conservation practices that people can implement on their own property: rain barrels, rain gardens, pollinator patches. We're going to have some turf alternative projects, conservation projects that you can put in on your yard. We're going to install them, demonstrate them, have workshops there, trainings there, inspire people to select one of these practices, apply to the forum for a grant, and then construct them in your own yard. So you'll be able to see how it's working in real time and real space.
Now, you said it's next to the foundation. Are they on East Main Street? Are they still there?
Yes.
Okay. So it's pretty close to the downtown area there.
Yes, so it's right next to that gazebo on Mulberry. So where like the farmer's market and everything will be, or is, I should say, in that parking lot. It'll be right next to that between the foundation and the gazebo park. So it'll be really great for public access for a lot of things that are already happening, because they do everything on Mulberry, like all the festivals and everything. So it'll be really good foot traffic wise to hopefully get people engaged and interested in just another area for them to explore.
Now, if somebody has a business and let's say they want to go to biodegradable products, or at least cartons or what have you, is there assistance to help them find out where those things are? Or
so if anybody has questions about anything, they can always reach out to myself or the Warren County Foundation directly. We don't have necessarily like a list of providers, like landscapers that will do the rain gardens. I know I've just personally done a little bit of research into it, but there are local businesses that do already use biodegradable containers, and so I've talked to them about what they use in the company they go through. So even if we may not have an answer, we can usually find somebody that does and just help kind of act as a connector between individuals to be able to discuss it and find solutions. So I'm always open to taking questions and helping find the answer. Even if I don't know it off the top of my head, we can usually find somebody that does.
now, there's a limit of $500. If a person or an organization has an idea one year, and then they come back next year, well, we want to do something totally different. We want to do this also. Could they get the grant a second time?
We have not discussed that. I would imagine over time we would not want to give the same individual multiple grants. As of right now, we haven't had any applications. So I think initially we're just really wanting people to apply and be able to showcase some of the ideas and things that have happened and really get it rolling. But I would think in the future we would not let the same person get multiple grants. That would be something that the committee would need to discuss.
Now, well, besides the foundation being involved in helping with these grants, there's also an opportunity for people who feel this is a good project to give money for the foundation, for the forum, I should say, to help with the cost of the grants.
Yes. So if you go to Warren County Foundation's website, and in the same spot that you can donate to other various funds that the foundation does have, you can just choose Environmental Forum from the drop down, and you can do a one-time donation. You're always welcome to mail a check or money order to the foundation directly if you would like to. You can stop into the foundation and let them know that you would like to donate and provide it at that time. So really, whichever way individuals are most comfortable with, yeah, we are definitely accepting donations and would love for people to provide funds for us to help get other people into this.
Now, being the Warren County Foundation, I'm sure it's open to everybody in the county. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And the Urban Conservation Learning Lab, I think I got it all.
Yes.
It does exist, but do you have to make an appointment to visit it to find out what's going on? Or are
So-
there classes?
We're in the beginning stages. It kind of exists. It exists in our heads right now. So we're just starting this project, striking up an agreement with Warren County Foundation, and we have the designs on paper. The plan is for it to be a public space. So we are going to have some welcome signs. We're going to have a pathway through. So it will be a passive learning experience. People can walk through if they're on a stroll down Main Street, or if they're visiting Colonial Park, they can stroll through, and we'll have signage at each of these conservation practices so that they can read about it and learn about it on their own time. We also do plan on having workshops and events in this space as well, having some of our educators from our staff teach about them and demonstrate these practices. But the intent is that people browse through as well on their own time.
So, so people can get on the ground floor of both the forum and the learning lab.
Yes.
So you're setting up a program which is recognizing a problem. You want to assist in fighting the problem, but you also want people to get involved on the ground floor to help, well, the community solve the problem.
Yes.
Any other kind of, in your brainstorming and in your thoughts about this, we've talked about biodegradable containers or what have you, the rain gardens and collecting of rainwater. What other possibilities are for these grants?
So compost bins, that's one way, a sustainable way to deal with some of the waste that households generate. There's many different kinds of compost bins. We're going to be putting up some turf alternative projects. So we're going to partner up with the zoo. There is Bower Farm out in Warren County where the zoo is doing a little bit of research, and they grow a lot of native plants there. And so we're going to put a couple of plots of different alternatives to turf grass that maybe look just as green and are just as desirable to those residential landowners, and to see, and so people can come and see, hey, this might work just as well as grass, and I don't have to mow so much. So turf alternative is another thing. We're going to put up a pollinator hotel. It's not a hive for bees, but some of our native bees don't use hives. So they also pollinate our flowers and promote our flower growth and all of our plants. And so maybe a pollinator hotel is another thing that you can put up in your yard, similar to a birdhouse, things like that. So those are kind of the initial ideas that we have.
Now, have you brought in, whether it be the city or the county park system, into the forum?
Well, we've talked with the City of Lebanon about the connection to the park right next door, and they're interested in helping us with getting the flow of people from this space to their park. They're interested in a walkway that connects the two. We've talked about maybe some permeable pavement if they do some parking improvements in the area. That's another conservation practice that they could help us install and demonstrate. People might be able to do patios with permeable pavement or bricks, or their driveways. So we're talking with the city about some projects that they might be involved with that kind of help this project along.
Well, so not only can, say, a business or an individual, but municipalities of some form or another can get involved in the forum. Do other counties in the area have something like this, or is this relatively new?
Not that I know of in terms of focusing on the individual and small business aspect. Because like I said, there are plenty of funds for nonprofits and public entities. So when I first started discussing this with Tom Seddon with the Warren County Foundation, I guess I should specify. When I first discussed it with him, that was one of the primary thoughts behind it is, we do want to have this different aspect for people that don't have access to funds in other ways. I've looked locally and I haven't seen things for, like I said, specifically individuals and small businesses. Everything that I've seen have been focused on like schools and nonprofits, municipal, like government entities, grant funding, things like that. So I don't think so in this specific niche.
But no, I have read that not only in some of the literature you have, that apartment complexes or something like that can get involved. Or
Yeah, if they wanted to implement recycling, there's always a first fee to have the recycling bins that's higher than your monthly bill. So that was one of the thoughts, is we could help you get that initial fee taken care of. Again, it's always up to that $500. But yeah, recycling is a great example of something that we could help get that initiate that cost for you.
so if somebody has a question or a concern about the Warren County Environmental Forum, they contact you, correct?
Yes. So you can just email me directly. It's just erin.hawk0916@gmail.com. If you have questions and you forget my email or anything, you can always contact the Warren County Foundation directly, and they can always get you in contact with me for additional questions. And then, like I said, if I don't know the answer to anything, I promise that I will help you find it.
Now, Molly, the Urban Conservation Learning Lab, if they have questions about that, they contact you?
That's right. Or there's a few members of my staff that are very knowledgeable as well. We have a team put together that is designing this project and coordinating with the foundation on this project. So they could call our office, look on our website. We have some information on there about our numbers and emails. So we're happy to answer any question.
So the lab is not technically manned all the time. So if they want to visit it, they contact you, and somebody from the staff would be there to explain what's in the lab area?
We could do that, but it is meant to be a passive space as well. So if they wanted to just walk on over and stroll through, they can do that as well.
How big an area is it?
I think it's about a 1/4 acre, if I'm not mistaken. So it's similar to the lot that the foundation's house is on, and I think it's about a 1/4 acre. So it's a pretty small city lot, but you can do a lot with a city lot.
Well, Erin, Molly, is there anything else we need to tell the viewers about either the forum or the Learning Lab?
I don't know that I can think of
I would say
anything.
keep your eye out for news. We're excited to promote it. We'll be promoting it more in the future. We'll be getting our materials out, our marketing materials out. You'll see a lot more from us in the future. Warren Soil and Water's website will have a lot of information about it, as well as the foundation.
So if people want to get on the ground floor of protecting the environment in Warren County and learning how to protect the environment, this is the time and place to go to both these groups, these organizations.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And I think also we'll be having some volunteer opportunities. Erin mentioned that is part of the mission of the forum, is to bring volunteers in and help people participate in this effort. And as we start building these practices on this learning lab, we might need some volunteers to help with installation. So keep your eyes out for that too.
Oh, great.
And as I recall, maintenance on an ongoing basis, not every week or anything, but so that would be something exciting. And the best part about that, like getting volunteers for that, is again, these are practices that, at a 1/4 of an acre is a little bit less than what most people may have in their home yards. These are practices that they can do at home. So if they come volunteer, they get that hands-on experience to be able to implement that at home.
Well, I wish you both the best of luck. I wish the organizations the best of luck. And in that same vein, I wish Warren County the best of luck in protecting the environment. We'll be back with our next guest in just a moment. Welcome back to the City Show. Continuing our green theme today, we have Casey Burdick, who is the Recreation and Natural Resource Coordinator for the City of Lebanon. Welcome back, Casey.
Yeah, thank you, John.
Now, we're going to be talking about Arbor Day and a particular thing that the city has done about Arbor Day. And what's that?
So we have an annual poster contest every year for 3rd through 6th graders here in the city to make a poster for a tree-themed idea that the Shade Tree Commission comes up with every year.
So what was the theme this year?
So trees are superheroes. So that's our theme for this year. Superheroes plant trees. My mistake. But yeah, so the kids around the community did a fantastic job, and it's so fun to see how creative they are with the theme.
And in that line, you brought some special guests.
Absolutely. So yeah, we have the first place winners of our poster contest.
Fantastic. So, well, let's. Why don't you introduce yourself and what school you go to, what grade you're in?
Okay, so first I want to say thanks for letting me be here. My name is Annabelle, and I'm in 5th grade.
Okay. Should we have Annabelle? Did you say? Mm-hmm. Should we have her show her artwork?
Absolutely.
Annabelle, show us what you created.
I created the tree right here.
Did any particular tree you got an idea for, or the water there? Was there anything that you really thought of? I want to draw that.
Well, first I looked online for some ideas, and I had the idea to do different colors of green, and then I thought it'd be good to put the pond next to it.
That's very nice, very colorful. And what's your name?
I'm Charlotte, and I'm in 4th grade, and
And where do you go to school?
Donovan.
Donovan. Tell us about your picture there.
So, these two fine people right here, they just planted a tree. And so she has a shovel because she's the one who was actually doing the work. And so, magically, the tree grew in 0.5 seconds, which doesn't actually happen. And so the squirrel found the cape in the tree, and then he put it on. And he thinks he's the one that planted the tree, when he didn't. These people did.
Well, I'm glad you explained to me that the tree grows so quickly, because I was thinking that's a big tree. I don't know how, since she did all the work, she could have put it there. Well, thank you very much. And who are you?
My name is Jordan, and I go to school at Donovan, and I'm in 3rd grade. And what I made, so my favorite Pokemon is Eevee, and I drew all its evolutions, and I put superhero masks and capes on them, and then I drew myself here. And then I drew a bunch of trees, and they planted all of these, and then I drew the sky in the background, and then I drew the grass down here. This one is Vaporeon, that's Eevee, that's Jolteon, that's Flareon, that's Espeon, that's Umbreon, that's Leafeon, that's Glaceon, that's Sylveon, and then that's me.
Now, are you in a costume there?
Yes.
Okay. And what costume are you wearing?
I'm in a superhero costume as well. I have a mask and a cape too.
Fantastic. Okay, and what's your name?
I'm Haven. I'm in 6th grade, and I go to St. Francis. And I drew a plant here growing, like somebody planted it in their hand. And I had a big sunrise coming over the horizon.
And who's the lady on the right there?
She's just a superhero who helps the community.
Mm-hmm. And is that a hand coming up in the middle?
Yes. So it's just symbolizing that people can plant trees too, not just on their own.
Okay, that's a pretty sunrise. I like that. And
Thank you.
apparently the birds like it too. And what's your name?
My name is Lauren.
And where do you go to school?
I go to St. Francis.
Okay. And tell us about, what grade are you in?
I'm in 4th grade.
Okay. Tell us about your picture.
This is, so basically I drew my big tree right here. Then I drew all my tiny trees in the background. And then I drew a bunch of people that are coming together to just plant all these trees.
Looks like it's like a park or something, is it? Seems to be quite are those flowers? And it's kind of hard to see from over here. Are those flowers?
Yeah.
And then, but the people's on the right, underneath the words, right?
Yeah.
Oh, great. Well, they're all very nice. I really like them. Now, I'm a former teacher, and I've got a question for you. It's not a tough question, although it might scare you a little bit. The word arbor is Latin for what? Think about your pictures.
Tree?
Tree, yes! Arbor is Latin for tree. Very good. Well, Casey, now you said this is the winners this year. How long has the city been doing this?
It's been a long time. So the Arbor Day Foundation was the ones who actually originally started this poster contest. And they stopped doing the contests probably 6 or 7 years ago. But our Shade Tree Commission loved it so much. We've just continued on with the tradition. And it's great to have the kids involved and, you know, making them aware of Arbor Day and participating as well.
Now, do they get a certificate or a prize or anything?
Right. So the first place winners get to be on the city show here.
Well, that's big.
So that's fun. And then they get recognized at the council meeting tomorrow night.
Oh, fantastic.
So yeah, that'll be, it's the best council meeting all year long. So they get to have the kids in there. They get to show off their posters. That's the first through third place winners. And they do get a certificate for their efforts.
Now, that also means you'll be on TV again, because they record those city council meetings. Now, Lebanon has always been proud of its trees. I mean, we are technically a tree city.
Correct.
And is that an organization or is that a name we came up with?
No, Tree City USA is a national program, and Ohio has the most tree cities in the U.S. So I believe we have well over 200 Tree City USAs. And then there's, it's everywhere. So this is actually part of the Arbor Day Foundation, where they recognize communities that take care of their trees.
And why are trees so important?
They do so much for us, and maybe, of course it's nice for landscaping, but, there's been studies that show that if you have trees along your streets, it actually slows down traffic. That also reduces the heat, which, kind of in a funny way, actually reduces people's temperatures or tempers. So it actually slows people down. They can breathe calmer. That really does just add a lot of quality to our life. And, it's nice if you have shade trees along the roads or in our parks. Where does everybody want to park? In the shade. They don't want to park in the full sun. So, they're very popular. Plus, they're great for wildlife habitat. And, we have a lot of wildlife that likes to live around here.
On a personal, whenever my wife and I were talking about moving, I always wanted to make sure we had some trees. I did not want a prairie palace, as I heard it referred to once. I wanted some trees there. Now, I don't know if you know this or not, but there are more trees in Lebanon now than there were 160 years ago, because they cut down a whole bunch of trees, not only for building material, but also for heating and what have you. So even back then, they realized that trees are important. Now, Arbor Day is Friday. Is there anything going on Friday itself for Arbor Day?
So every year, the Shade Tree Commission celebrates at one of our schools. We rotate it around, because we also give the school a tree. So the same school doesn't need a tree every year, probably. So we travel around. This year we're going to be at Lebanon Christian School on Deerfield, and we'll just read the Arbor Day proclamation. The mayor will say a few words to the kids. Generally the schools will do some sort of small performance, like read some poems or sing songs about trees and nature and things like that. So it's a lot of fun too.
Yeah. Do you know what kind of tree is going to be planted?
They have selected a white dogwood. So that'll be a nice addition to their campus.
Oh, great, great. Well, Casey, I want to thank you for telling us about Arbor Day, and I want to thank all of you for being our special guest. That was really neat. You've done some great work there, girls. And we'll see you on TV again tomorrow. Okay. Well, thank you, Casey. And thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time, and I'll see you around town.